Hello, my lovely butterflies. Welcome back to the Butterfly Empire. It is me, the Butterfly Queen. And before we get this party started, I need you to go to my website. It's on Anchor. You follow that, whatnot. It gives you all of my episodes and seasons and all that in one little spot. It is amazing. Also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, the Butterfly Empire Podcast. Let's like it up and get this party started. Thank you. Okay, before I start this whole shebang of Richard Chase, let me just say that he would often complain about his heart would occasionally stop beating, or that someone stole his pulmonary artery. Somebody stole his pulmonary artery. I mean, I will say it a few more times if nobody understands that, but it's the artery in the right side of your heart. I believe someone reached in and stole his pulmonary artery. Thought I'd just tell you since you guys would want to know the crazy about this guy. Okay, so Richard Chase also thought that if he put oranges on his head, his brain would absorb the vitamin C. He thought his cranial bones in his head were separating, so he shaved his head so he can keep an eye on it. He also believed that if he disemboweled an animal and mixed it with Coca-Cola into a concoction, like blending it up and mixing it together, that if he consumed these things, it would stop his heart from shrinking. And like on one occasion, Richard injected himself with rabbit blood. Then in 1976, the hospital, after being sent to the hospital because of the rabbit blood thing, they put him in a crazy institution. The hospital then nicknamed him Dracula because of his fascination with blood. This guy is like Ozzy, okay? Like, he had 2 birds on his windowsill. He snatched them both and ripped off their heads. Yeah, and then he sucked out their blood. Wonderful. He was then diagnosed with paranoia schizophrenia. So, he believed that breaking into people's homes, if it was a locked door, it would mean that he's not welcome and he would just walk away. But if you had an unlocked door, it means he's welcome and he's free to do what he wants. Like, dude, there was this one time where he broke into these people's house that had the door unlocked. He began ransacking their house, and he even urinated on the kid's bed and the baby's clothes that was still in the drawer. Are you ready to rumble? No? Okay, we'll try again here in a little bit then. Anywho, Richard Trenton Chase was an American serial killer, rapist, cannibal, necrophile who killed 6 people in the span of a month in Sacramento, California. There we go. He was nicknamed the Vampire of Sacramento because he drank his victims' blood and cannibalized their remains. Just a native of Sacramento, California, by the age of 10, he exhibited evidence of all 3 parts of the McDonald trait, which is the presence of 2 which are considered to be predispositions associated with violent tendencies, particularly with rational to serial offenders. Yeah. Anyways, he was in the development of a psychopath. In adolescence, he's said to be a very heavy drug user. Okay, skipping back to when it all started. Chase developed hypochondria as he matured, which is they're always worried about having a serious illness, making stuff up. Anyways, he often complained that his heart would occasionally stop beating and that someone stole his pulmonary artery. He would hold oranges to his head, believed vitamin C would be absorbed through his brain via diffusion. Chase also believed that his cranial bones had become separated and were moving around. So he shaved his head to be able to watch this activity. Okay. After leaving his mother's house, which he believed that she was poisoning him, Chase rented an apartment with friends. Then his roommates complained that he was constantly under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, and LSD. Chase would also walk around the apartment nude, in front of company even. Chase's roommates demanded that he moved out. When he refused, the roommates just moved out themselves. So, there's that. Finally alone in the apartment, he began to capture, kill, and disembowel various animals, which he would then devour raw, sometimes mixing the raw organs with Coca-Cola in a blender and drinking the concoction. Chase believed that by ingesting the creature, he prevented his heart from shrinking. Chase spent a brief time in a psychiatric ward in 1973. In 1976, he was involuntarily admitted to a mental institution upon being taken to a hospital after injecting rabbit's blood into his veins. Okay. The staff named him Dracula because of his blood asphyxiation. He broke the necks of 2 birds he caught through the institution's window and drank their blood. He also extracted blood from therapy dogs with stolen syringes. Okay. Chase was promptly diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia after undergoing a battery of treatments involving psychotropic drugs. Chase was deemed no longer a danger to society. After late in 1976, he was released to his mother's custody. I'm sorry. Pretty sure that illness cannot be fixed like that. Like, he drinks blood, he kills things. Why would you let him out in the world? He's fine. Toad's fine. Yeah. Chase's mother weaned him off his medication and got him his own apartment. He initially shared the apartment with roommates before all of them moved out, thus leaving Chase on his own. Later investigation uncovered that in mid-1977-ish, Chase was stopped and arrested on a reservation in Pyramid Lake, Nevada area. His body was smeared with blood, and a bucket of the blood was found in his trunk. The blood was determined to be cow blood, and no charges were filed. No charges were filed that he killed a cow, drank its blood, probably had sex with it and whatnot. Things that make me go, no thank you. Okay, moving on to the Metasprees. On December 29, 1977, Chase killed his first known victim in a drive-by shooting. The victim, Ambrose Griffin, was a 50-year-old engineer and father of 2. He attempted the home of a woman 2 weeks later, but because her doors were locked, he walked away. Chase later told the detectives that he took locked doors as a sign that he was not welcome. But unlocked doors were an invitation to come inside. Remember, lock your doors. You can prevent a serial killer from coming in. Just gonna put that out there. He was once caught and chased off by a couple returning home after he pilfered their belongings. He had also urinated and defecated on their infants' beds and clothing. Ew. On December 23rd, 1978, Chase broke into a house and shot Teresa Wallen, who was 3 months pregnant at the time. But he shot her 3 times. And then had sexually intercoursed her corpse while stabbing her with a butcher's knife. Ooh. He then removed multiple organs, cut off one of her nipples, and drank her blood. Then he went to the backyard, got dog feces, and put it down her throat before leaving. Give a new meaning to I'll shit down your throat. Huh. Moving on. On January 27, Chase entered the home of 38-year-old Evelyn Myroth. He encountered her friend Danny Meredith, whom he shot with his .22 handgun, then took Meredith's wallet and car keys. He then fatally shot Meredith, her 6-year-old son Jason, and her 22-month-old nephew David Ferreira, before mutilating Meredith and engaging in necrophilia and cannibalism with her corpse. Testing 873. Let's do this. Apparently, every dog in the house wants in my bedroom at the exact different times. Like, we know that you just put your headphones on and start speaking, but you know what? Let's scratch on the door. Because we could not come in when all the other dogs come in. Nah, that'd be too easy. Okay, I'm back, and all 82 of my dogs are back in the house. In my bedroom. It's not really 82, but it feels like it sometimes. Moving along. A visitors knock on the door. A visitor knocked on the door. There we go. And startled Chase, who fled in Meredith's car, taking Ferreira's body with him, which was like the 2-year-old and whatnots. The visitor alerted a neighbor who called police. They discovered that Chase had left perfect handprints and shoe imprints in Meredith's blood. Chase was arrested shortly afterwards. Police who searched Chase's apartment found that the walls, floor, ceiling, refrigerator, and all of the Chase's eating and drinking utensils were soaked. Excuse you. Blood. Okay, here we are at the ending. In 1979, Chase stood trial on 6 counts of murder. In order to avoid the death penalty, the defense tried to have him found guilty of second-degree murder, which would result in a life sentence. Their case hinged on Chase's history of mental illness and the suggestion that his crimes were not premeditated. On May 8, 1979, the jury found Chase guilty of 6 counts of first-degree murder and rejected the argument that he was not guilty by reason of insanity. Sentenced to die in the gas chamber, his fellow inmates, aware of the extreme violent nature of Chase's crime, feared him, and according to prison officials, often tried to pursue Chase to commit suicide. Chase granted a series of interviews with Robert Ressler, during which he spoke of his fears of Nazis and UFOs, claiming that although he had killed, it was not his fault. He was forced to kill to keep himself alive, which he believed any person would do. He asked Ressler to give him access to a radar gun, which he would apprehend the Nazi UFOs so that the Nazis could stand trial for the murders. What? He also handed Ressler a large amount of macaroni and cheese. What? This makes me say what so many times. Which he has been hoarding in his pants pocket, believed that the prison officials were in a league with the Nazis attempted to kill him with food poisoning. My goodness. Okay. On December 26, 1980, Chase was found in his cell dead. An autopsy found that he committed suicide with overdose of prescribed antidepressants that he has been saved over several weeks. Can you tell me what you love about crime? Can you tell me what you wanna know? I can give you what you need. Do you wanna know about the murder? Who died first?
Purchase your tracks today.
I wonder if they're still alive. Do you wanna know what they did first? Now can you tell me? Now can you tell me? How do you feel about this? Is it just what we feel?